Come January, once Christmas is behind us, you find yourself full of turkey, prosecco and Yule log. Your freezer is full of leftovers and your home is full of new stuff. But one thing that isn't full is your bank account. And this is why January is the perfect month for a no-buy challenge. Even if you found yourself on Santa's good list this year thanks to your budgeting efforts, it's still well worth considering giving a no-spend month a go. A no-spend month is where you cut your spending way back to essentials only. You make a really conscious effort to use up what you have, only spending money where absolutely necessary. Doing this can kickstart healthy budgeting habits in the new year and give you a really great start towards your new year savings goals. And who knows, maybe you'll extend it to a full no-buy year. If you are considering joining me in doing a no-buy month in January, then these are the tips that you need to be successful. First of all, decide on what you will not be buying. You need to start off this challenge by setting yourself the boundaries and the rules that you will be following. Writing it down is really key because if you're ever feeling tempted, then you can go back to that list and remind yourself of the commitment you made. I just think there's something really vague about just thinking, I'm going to do a no-buy month in your head, and then not really writing down any specifics of what it is that you're going to avoid spending your money on in that month. It's particularly important if you're someone who really struggles to avoid the temptation of impulse purchases. So try doing what I've done, which is to create a notes document on my phone, and I've just written on here the things that I will definitely not be buying during my no-buy January and the things that I am allowed to spend money on that are not necessarily essentials. So on my no-buy rules list are household decor, clothes and shoes, takeaways, beauty products, beauty treatments, meals out, alcohol, snacks and drinks on the go, new toys, and going to the cinema. And I've also written a little yes list just to outline a few things that I am allowed to spend money on. So happy to spend money on extra ingredients so that we can do some weekend cooking together, just in case we're bored, we find ourselves at a loose end or the weather's really bad. Parking and going and visiting places that are free to visit. The cost of the parking, the cost of the fuel, that is fine. I'm gonna keep maintaining 2 TV streaming services so that we've got something for entertainment wise at home, and I'm also allowing myself to buy replacements. So if anything runs out that I use on a definitely regular basis, so the foundation that I use every single day, the eyebrow pencil that I use every single day, I'm allowed to buy that to replace it if that's run out. I'm not allowed to go out and decide, oh hey, there's this new foundation that I might try and I use foundation every day so I'll buy it. No, because I've already got foundation at home that I use. So it's just being really clear with myself that if I've completely run out, that's fine. If I haven't, then that product is just going to go on a wish list. I'm not going to buy that at the moment. Another thing that I need to budget for is that it's my daughter's birthday in February, so I will be doing a little bit of shopping in January for that. Obviously that's an allowed expense, it's my daughter's birthday. I don't necessarily want to buy everything in February, I want to spread the cost a little bit over January and February. So I'm clear within my budget that that is allowed for. That's one of the things that's on the okay list. Another thing that is going to help you succeed with a no-buy month is to be really clear on your reason. It's so much easier to stick with a no-spend challenge if the why you are doing it is very clear in your mind. It's going to be really tough sacrificing things that you usually buy for enjoyment, so it all needs to be in pursuit of something that you want or need even more. It definitely should not be because you're punishing yourself after a super expensive Christmas. You want to frame this in a really positive way, that you are working towards something for yourself rather than in any kind of negative light. Could be that you need money towards eliminating debt. Maybe you want to build up your emergency fund, or maybe you're saving towards a dream holiday, or you're wanting to top up your children's savings accounts. Whatever your why is, be really clear on what it is and have some way of visualizing that every day. You could just put a picture of your dream holiday destination on your fridge so that you can see it every morning and remind yourself of why you are taking particular spending decisions on a day-to-day basis over the course of this no-spend month. Or you could have some other way of recording your progress so that it's written down, so that it's visual, so that you can see that you're making progress, and that should keep you motivated right to the end of the month. That leads me really nicely onto the next tip, which is to keep track. In order to keep yourself motivated and also maybe even inspire you, it can be really useful to keep a spending journal during your no spend month. So write down every bit of spending in this journal and just keep a tab on the little bits of money that go out of your bank account. It might surprise you then. Maybe then you need to refine your no spend list to add additional things on there. Maybe there were some things that you didn't consider. We often sort of end up mindlessly spending on little bits and bobs, little things that we kind of didn't really take into account before in our budget. But when we actually write it down in a spending journal, some of our spending habits just suddenly become a little bit clearer. I think writing it down in a spending journal just really gives you a fresh perspective, and it can be so much better than just quickly checking a bank balance. You're like having to really write down, and you're having to really think about these numbers, and also it helps you check in on your progress. You can see like, wow, you know, I've spent so much less this week. This is going really well. It's going to keep you going until the end of the month. I think it can give you a really good fresh perspective on how much you're spending on essentials already, and how little you actually truly need in life to get by and be happy and content. So my next tip is a really important one for your no spend month, and that is to avoid temptation. So there are temptations everywhere, consumer traps everywhere, tempting you to spend money on stuff that ultimately you don't really need, but that marketing professionals are really clever at convincing you that you do need them. So one way to avoid these pitfalls and stopping them from derailing you from your successful no buy challenge month is to move that money that you would normally spend on non-essential stuff, all the stuff that you've committed to not buying this month, move that money into a savings account right at the start of the month. So it's not even there, it's not in your current account, you can't spend it because it's gone. Other things that can really help to avoid those temptations is to delete your bank card details from your smartphone so that you can't just do, you know, a one-tap checkout where your details auto-complete. Anything you can do to create friction in the checkout process is a really good idea. Unsubscribe from brands that really tempt you. All of those sale emails that will be bombarding you in January, unsubscribe or send them to a different folder in your inbox where you're not going to see them. Unfollow or mute certain influencers that are going really heavy on January sales. If you're really struggling to avoid the temptation that they are presenting to you to buy, to impulse spend, then just unfollow, mute, and get them out of your line of sight. I really think that when it comes to impulse purchasing, ignorance is bliss. If you're unaware of the latest trend in trousers or bags or whatever it might be, then you're not going to be getting that FOMO, that fear of missing out. Another way to help you stick with your no buy challenge is to tell your friends and family that you're doing it. Trying to do a no spend month without any support and with people that are kind of actively working against you on this challenge can make it really unlikely that you're going to succeed. So tell your partner, tell the people that you live with, tell your friends and family that you're doing this no spend challenge. It doesn't mean that you don't want to see them or socialize with them. You just want to do things this month that, you know, are a little bit less expensive. So say you want to meet up for a nice walk in the woods in order to socialize, or have them over for a nice dinner. The next tip is to get motivated with quick maths. If at any stage during your no spend month you are tempted to buy something, whatever it might be, a takeout coffee or brand new piece of clothing, a brand new piece of home decor, just stop and think about how much that costs. Then consider how much it would cost you over the course of the year if you bought that thing every day or once a month. Let me give you an example. A takeout cup of coffee costs £3.50. If you really wobble and end up buying one every working day over the course of what was meant to be your no spend month, then you spent £70. I think that switch from thinking about, oh, it's only £3.50 to, oh, actually it's £70 can really help you stick with the challenge and remind you to bring all of your drinks from home. The next tip is to find free fun. Let's say you're 1 day or a week or 2 weeks into your no spend challenge and you are bored. I totally get it, like fun costs money and spending money in itself is a pastime. So find some ways to enjoy quality time and have fun for less. Trust me, there are plenty of things you can do that are fun that do not cost you any money. A movie marathon weekend where you give yourselves permission to just hibernate, snuggle up on the sofa and binge watch a whole bunch of movies. Maybe you could try baking something or cooking something slightly different at the weekends, like a really fun recipe, or trying to recreate your favorite takeaway at home. If you have kids, then you could make a list of parks that were within driving distance of your home, Put that list on your fridge and say to yourselves that over the course of the month, you're going to try and visit each one of these parks, maybe give them a ranking out of 10, and you could figure out which one was your favourite at the end of the month. My next tip is to use this time to declutter your home. I think January is a really perfect time to declutter your house anyway, get rid of stuff that you don't need because you're possibly making room for things that you got over Christmas. But also idle hands tend to reach for the smartphone and start online shopping. Try to stay busy by doing a little bit of decluttering around your home every single day over the course of the month. And what you can also do is sell anything that is appropriate to sell on in order to make yourself a little bit of extra money in this month. You can sell old toys, clothes, shoes, home decor on apps such as Vinted, eBay, and Facebook Marketplace. And my final tip, if you are really struggling with temptation during your no-buy month, is to create a wish list. January is a time when sales are absolutely everywhere, and so it can be really tough to avoid impulse purchasing because they deploy these tactics such as a countdown timer that tell you, hey, you know, like your time is nearly up to get this incredible bargain and otherwise it's gone forever. What you need to remember is that most brands have sales throughout the year. January is not going to be the only time that they have a sale. So whatever you see that you're tempted by, put it on a wish list and tell yourself that you are definitely not going to even think about it for another 30 days until your no spend month is over. Revisit it in 30 days time, and I bet you that when you're scrolling through your wish list, you'll have a fresh perspective on things and you'll realize that these were all wants and not needs. So who is joining me on a no spend challenge in January? I would so love to hear from you. What is on your list of things that you'll not be buying in January? Please let me know. Have you done a no spend month before? And if you did, what did you find the most challenging and how did you overcome that? Let's get together, guys, and help each other out so that we can all boost our savings pots in this no spend challenge.